Welcome back, everyone. My guest today is Gordon Boyd, somebody that I've known since 1977. Hard to believe, right?
Yes, when you add it up.
For those of you who know Gordon, you know that really for your whole life you've been involved in causes and politics and the environment. You've always been very, very active. And the reason I asked Gordon to come on today was because you're involved as a steering committee member for Destination Saratoga. And tonight, as you'll find out, there's a barn burner of a city council meeting coming up, and I wanted to get your perspective from Destination Saratoga's point of view of this topic, of this couldn't be hotter topic of the casino expansion in Saratoga. So welcome.
Well, thank you very much, Jesse. It's a pleasure to be here.
Good. Now, when people on both sides have very valid arguments, the two that seem to rise to the surface all the time is the effect that it will have on downtown businesses and also the quality of life in Saratoga. Now, in the time that we have today, could we just zero in on those two?
Sure.
And let me get your perspective on it. So, quality of life.
Well, I think that we've had the existing casino operation at the harness track now for 10 years. They celebrated their 10th anniversary just last month. All of the same arguments about quality of life and effect on downtown and all of that were brought up when the original racino was approved and accepted by the Board of Supervisors in 2003 or 2004. So I think that the opponents of the current expansion really have a case to prove that has not been proven by experience. They said all these things 10 years ago. They said downtown would suffer. They said all the patrons of the casino would stay out at the casino and wouldn't be any benefit to the town. And downtown has prospered. New buildings have been built. New retailers have come into downtown. The convention business is still very robust. And from the video slot machine parlor at the existing casino, the city is getting about $1.8 million a year that helps keep our property taxes down. Mm-hmm. Now that money still has to be appropriated every year by the legislature, but that is our local share for hosting what is basically an opportunity for people to pay taxes to the state. That's right. What's going on out there. So we get a little bit of that. Also, it has saved harness racing. The harness track was going to close before the racino went in there. The harness people would have been out of business. The stables would have closed. The farms would have folded up. Now we have very healthy harness standardbred farms all over the region here. We have stables are full at the harness track, which means there are grooms and exercise people and veterinarians and all kinds of people that are benefiting from that little microeconomic environment. Why are the harness people back in business? Because the purses are higher. The revenue from the slot machines has fed into higher purses at the harness track, and that's what people compete for out there. Right. So the more money there is in the purses, the more money people get to pay their bills for stabling, for exercise, for training, for all of those expenses. So it may not be everybody's cup of tea to go out to the casino, and so they think, well, gee, I don't go out there, so what good could it be? But it is paying for a lot of jobs, a lot of activity out there. And then the casino itself has, several hundred jobs, and the expansion promises to add 600 or 700 more jobs out there. And these are good jobs that young people, middle-aged people, all kinds of people can apply for. They are protected by a union collective bargaining contract. They pay decent benefits. And I would say that for restaurant and hospitality work around here, those are some of the best paying jobs in our community.
Right, and as we were discussing before we went on camera tonight, that Saratoga, even through the recession, was able to show growth.
Yes, since the racino went into business
community
10 years ago, we've had a couple of recessions, one really bad one, and yet here we are today with a very vibrant downtown, and the racino, if it's had any effect at all, it's been positive, and I would say it's, an expansion wouldn't certainly be the opposite of what we've already experienced already.
Well, you know what? I've been out there many times myself for events, and it's a beautifully run facility, On that quality of life thing, though, people are saying, oh, it's going to attract gamblers. It's going to attract a kind of person that we don't want in Saratoga. How do you answer that?
Gambling in Saratoga? I would be shocked. Saratoga has been a destination resort since before the Europeans came here. The city seal shows Native Americans at High Rock Spring. Native Americans came from far and wide to the healing waters here, even before William Johnson and George Washington and Thomas Jefferson and Aaron Burr came through here. So we have been a destination for a long time. The mineral waters brought in casino gambling in the 19th century, brought in horse racing. We have been a place for people to visit and play, and we have built off of that base a very diverse economy. We have higher education, we have manufacturing, we have retailing, we have wholesaling, culture and the arts, we have wholesale distribution, we have lots of ways that people can find an economic livelihood here.
You know, people are saying that, okay, and I agree with you on that, but those people who come out to the Racino or stay out there, they stay there. They're not going to come downtown. They're not going to go to our restaurants, and they're not going to go to our shops.
Right. That is one of the arguments that's made. But here's the reality of the choice that we're being offered here. The casino is either going to be in Saratoga Springs or it's going to be somewhere else in the capital region. It's not going to be nowhere. So if people come to the casino but stay there, a few of them may come downtown, many of them may come downtown. The casino gives out coupons for people to shop downtown. There are lots of opportunities for spillover from a casino that's here.
Right.
If the casino were in some other regional community, in Albany, Schenectady, Troy, or wherever, or Amsterdam, the likelihood of any of those people finding their way to Saratoga Springs is much, much less.
That's great. Now, we're going to have you back again on Beyond the Headlines to go more in depth on this subject, because let's face it, this is going to be a hot topic for time to come. And tonight, like I said, we'll be covering the Saratoga City Council meeting where this topic, of course, will be front and center again. So please come back, Gordon.
Thank you very much.
It's great to see you again.
It was a pleasure.
A lot of memories. And we'll be right back.